quality television, best of the box.
On our next breakaway, your ears will perk up with the harmonic symphonics of the VSwede app.
Coming up on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Don't miss brand new Stargate Atlantis later. Some old friends return, and there's some nice juicy twists.
The following movie has been rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America. It is intended for mature audiences.
Becca's the target of Justin's attention, and she's not pleased. Hollyoaks is in half an hour. First on 4, I bet it's Marge on the Slotties.
Oh, with all this conspiracy and corruption, we were all busy watching that film, and someone's pinched their hands on our clock. Would you mind putting them back now, please? Thank you, that's better.
From the Sky Satellite Network, this is Sky One.
A wild new channel all across Europe. Cartoon Network. Right here, right now.
Aren't you glad you got your Nickelodeon? Aren't you glad you got your Nickelodeon? Aren't you glad you watching?
This is Carlton Television from London, part of ITV1.
Later on ITV2, there's Coronation Street and Club Reps Uncut.
Now on 4, the party's non-stop and full-on in Around the World in 80 Raves. Bex and Joe will be online for a chat after the program.
En bröstkirurg och en plastikkirurg finns på plats eftersom det ju handlar om bröst och bröstproblem.
Good evening and welcome to BBC4. In just a moment, the raw operatic talent of South Africa's townships is harnessed in a breathtaking production of Carmen.
All fired up for the new series. Now on BBC Two, our moody millionaires are back. Flame grilling, more lambs to the slaughter in the Dragon's Den.
You're watching the Christian Channel. Jesus is Lord of the airwaves.
You're watching HBO, America's leading pay TV network.
Send the word vote, followed by the 3-digit number.
It's not your normal paranormal. It's Ghost Hunters, part of the all-new Sci-Fi Wednesday. This Wednesday at 9.
Boo! Did I scare you? Did I scare you? Hey, Boy Mario out here with the follow already. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How are y'all doing tonight? Sick ass wedding. Yeah, I really like it. It's supposed to be a sort of, I don't know if the AC is too loud. It's supposed to be a sort of, like almost 90s, 2000s TV inspired thing. So it's like starting screens, items, stuff like that. It's really cool. I really like it. How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing tonight? On this lovely, it might not be night, it might be evening, it might be afternoon, it might be morning. Could be whatever. How are you doing? That's the most important question. How are y'all doing? I'm doing all right myself. I've mostly been just working tonight. I don't know why, but the goal here on the side keeps changing. I don't know what's going on there. Hello. How you doing, Alia? All right, people are coming in here. So, Pacific Drive. I've had my eyes on this little thing for a good bit, and I'm pretty gay today. How about you? Hey, aren't we all just a little bit? Just a little bit. Pacific Drive. Yeah, I know. Medic's excited. Yeah. So this is my. I've had this game on my wish list for a long time. Yeah. So have I. It looks really sick. Essentially, what Pacific Drive is, I would describe it as a supernatural, like, survival horror game. I don't know if horror game is the right thing, but it's a survival game that bases itself a lot around driving and the supernatural, and it's very atmospheric and stuff like that. And it looks awesome. And I've heard some really good stuff about it. I don't know why the goal thing seemingly switches between sub and followers. Don't know why. Although if we can hit these goals, I don't expect to do it tonight. But if we can ever hit those goals, that would be sick. But yeah, so that's pretty much all. I've gone in a little bit just to make sure settings and stuff like that and everything runs fine. Let me know if it is running a little amok. Because this might be a little power intensive, but I think it should be fine. The only thing I've done is that I've done a little bit of the first driving section in the start of this. I haven't gone any further than that, and that's just to test settings. So this is a first playthrough, completely like no spoilers or anything like that. I've tried to avoid as much as possible for this because it looks genuinely sick. Explore Pacific Drive, self-guided tour. I guess memorable routes, these are the save files. Yeah, new game. Would you like to customize your settings before you start? You can adjust these at any time during gameplay. Sure, motion camera. Okay, these are accessibility. I think I've mostly adjusted everything I wanted to. Yeah, I think let's begin. Obviously, this might take a little while to load. So how are y'all doing? Are y'all doing good? Phone died there for a sec, but I'm back. Welcome back. Keep that shit on charge. Oh, it's loading a lot quicker now than it did before, probably because it's... Yeah. In 1947, the Olympic Peninsula became the staging ground for a promising new technology. As rumors of its utopian creation spreads, so did stories about overnight evacuations, unsolved disappearances, and unnatural encounters. Having a good day? Hell yeah, Gaminator. Hoping y'all are having a good day. In 1955, the government walled off a section of the peninsula to establish the Olympic exclusion zone. For 30 years, the zone's borders grew until the government withdrew and sealed every access point. What happened inside was never disclosed. Ooh! Mysterious. Let me know if the game is a little too loud, or if I'm being too loud, or if anything else is not loud enough. Order form, JS Express. Deliver, unload, clean K. Stay on the roads. So I'm doing a delivery. Holy shit, we got the Ford commercial music. If you need a brand new car. Well, I'm gonna lower the also I should make sure streamer safe mode, yes. Disable copyright music from playing. Hey, GP! Thank you so much for the follow. I'm gonna lower the radio a little bit. I absolutely love the soundtrack this game has. I've heard really good stuff. Right, so wipers on there. I'm going. Lights. Right, and I can quickly turn this on. I want you to drive into the next tree you see. Can do. I found the horn. All right. Oh, it would be sick. Tell me if this game has support for, like, I would presume it probably does, but like support for using a steering wheel. I wanted to see what this game is like since I messed that on the demo. Well, I've got you covered. GP. Yeah, no, I've had this on my wish list for a while, and it's on sale, so I thought, yeah, why not pick it up? It looks gorgeous. I'm playing on lower settings, but it still looks really pretty, like very atmospheric. Also, hello Dank with the Jeet. Oh man, this is also my type of game because I find I'm the type of person who I think I can probably speak for a lot of people, but I find driving pretty cathartic. Like, whenever I'm just having like a rough thing or I need to think something through. Hold on, I need to turn on the wipers. If I need to think about something or just kind of switch off for a little bit, driving just kind of, it's very relaxing to me. I don't know why, it's just kind of, you're just focused on a single task, which is just sort of driving. I don't necessarily need to have a goal either, I can just drive somewhere. When Euro Truck Simulator, someday. Like multiplayer Euro Truck Simulator, oh my god, that's gonna be a mess. That's when I'll actually pull out the, if I can find my steering wheel and like my acceleration and brake thing, hell yeah. I got a wheel set up for it, so, well, there you go. There you go. I know I can toggle the wipers. Thank you, game. Is the game a little too loud? Is it overpowering my voice in any way? Just want to know. There's some interesting structures there. I do not have a rear view mirror. I only have the left and right. Oh, Jesus Christ. Steering with A and D is not... I'm not used to I'm not used to this. I'm also driving a little too fast, perhaps. All right, we're going through the tunnel. Headlights, caution. So I guess we've got a delivery or something. If I can... Yeah, seemingly. Yeah, what is that? Oh, Jesus, I'm moving. Should probably keep moving. Is that like a calendar I have? Yeah, that kind of looks like the Park Life. Whoa. That's me being an idiot. Look, don't look back and drive, all right? That kind of looks like... are any of y'all aware of Blur? Like the band? Because if you know of the Park Life album, it looks like that album cover. This is me though. Oh, okay, the radio is fucking off. Oh, that's interesting. Authorized personnel. Oh, who joined? It's a Dank. Again, anytime I'm doing a stream, I always tend to be in a VC, so in case any bots want to come in and give their commentary, just provide some entertainment, FYI. But how are you doing, Dank?
Chilling currently.
Chilling. Right, I'm going to turn you up just a little bit. There we go. What did it say? Warning, high R level, I guess radiation levels facility. Extreme caution advised. Further inquiries directed to Gate C2B. Azura also joined.
Okay, real quick. I'm still in the middle of an Apex rank sesh. I needed a second opinion. What do I get from McDonald's?
I mean, personally, I don't go to Mackey's much because boycott reasons, but like, I love me a good like chicken nuggets. It's like a classic.
Big Mac.
Yeah, I wanted to get myself some chicken nuggets, and I understand for boycott reasons.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I'm hungry and I just want something.
I mean, you do you, man. Warning: launch and construction facility ahead. 20 chicken nuggets, barbecue sauce, game in there. There you go.
That's a good shout.
Man's gotcha. Launch and construction facility ahead. Periodic volume warning: 80 plus decimals next 15 miles.
I need to quickly head back to a separate VC before Max and Mike shout at me.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, have a good stream, Vic.
Thank you.
Enjoy the stream, everybody.
Have a good session.
Give Vic full support.
Bye. And now I'm gonna go ahead and
that's a silly man.
crash.
That is a silly man. What do you say you're gonna do?
I'm gonna go ahead and game Crash Bandicoot and
Hey, nice. Okay, so that's restricted area. What the
Gotta
fuck?
get the nostalgia.
Hell yeah. Okay, that just... Alright. So here's where the sort of supernatural parts come in. Also, this is hella off-roading. I guess I'll
yippee.
I'll just try to get past this as fast as I can. Let's avoid staying here. So I do not like this. This is fucking huge. Whoa, okay. That's something. Oh shit. Well.
Oh yeah, hey, have you actually played
any
of the Crash games?
Okay.
That was an explosion.
Yeah, we got super sucked. I don't think I have played any of the Crash games.
Well, if you ever get yourself a PS2 emulator, I'd suggest that you get...
I don't even... dude, I don't even need an emulator. I have a PS2, legit. Back in the day. One of my
Try
first
and find
consoles.
just a copy of Crash 3.
Hell yeah.
That has the most banging fucking intro soundtrack.
Yeah. Okay, so hold on. Where... Oh, okay. So I'm in the exclusion zone that they were talking about. Get to safety, find transportation.
Okay,
All
a
right.
floating tire.
Yeah. These are.
Floating shit?
I think these are bits of my car. Yeah, there's the engine. Fuck, man. Oh, good. I probably shouldn't stand here for too long. I'm gonna run. Right, so we are in the exclusion zone. This is sort of no man's land, pretty much. Caution. Around. Yeah, so these are just basic navigation things. Yep. Makes sense, makes sense. Right. Oh! Oh, I can kick things. Oh, hell yeah. I kind of wish it showed the leg when you kicked, but I can hang.
Hello? Someone out there?
Yes?
Hello?
Nitro.
What a swan, never mind. Francis, the radar's acting up again. You were supposed to tune up this piece of junk years ago.
They in there? Or is that coming from... Is that coming from the radio? Put the wheel back on. Oh, it is missing one wheel. Well, ain't that just fucking... Ain't that perfect? Still summer tire. Alright, get in. So this is the thing. You do a lot of driving in this game. Oh. Oh, I have to put it in drive and park. Okay.
Oh, the signal. Yes, it's back. It's back. This is Tobias Barlow and Francis Cook, located in
42 out of
Sector B.
112
Do you read
boxes.
me?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm picking up your distress signal in the outer zone. It looks like you're somewhere around Sector E.
Stage.
Hold on.
Francis, come here. Yes, it's urgent. Leave that interferometer alone for a second. Something is out there.
So there are other people in here. Question is how they got in here, though.
Hey, we got a live one. Hey, do you copy? Hello? Hello?
Yeah?
Is it working?
I guess they can't hear me.
They don't have a transmitter.
Yeah.
We won't hear a thing back.
But I can't hear them.
Shit.
But if they're stranded, could they, they're from outside? They're a preacher? Hey, how did you get through the barrier wall? No one's gotten into the zone in ages and lived to tell about it.
And if we don't get them to safety, this one won't either.
There we go.
That's a good point. Hey, you're in serious danger. The instability's closing in, and it's gonna scramble you quicker than beef in a blender. Your closest shelter is a few miles east. Get there however you can, and be quick about it.
Okay. Just keep... Why did it just... Oh, shit. Oh, there's no fuel. Well... Cool. Right. Okay, so we need to find fuel. Makes sense. Oh, did I? Oh. Accidentally deafened. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so I need to get fuel from, yeah, from here. Check your trunk for a fuel can. I just had it on like this bit of goop. All right. Siphon the fuel from the broken down car. Yep. Suck it. Sucking it out. Sucking it out. The glue. How are you doing, Plasma? Okay. Now we just fill it. That's a very small... Can I potentially fill it with more? Okay, never mind. We don't have time.
The fuck do you mean?
Drive! Well, the fucking radiation thing, whatever the fuck this is.
Oh, fun.
Ay, ay, ay.
Whoa, wait, hold
Run, boy, run.
There it is.
This world isn't meant for you.
Spectrometer. I've seen that waveform before, but where?
Oh.
Oh, kidding. Could it be?
Right, I forgot I have a double jump.
That can't be. There hasn't been one in decades.
Look at that spectral fingerprint and tell me that doesn't match the remnants exactly.
No. What we should be looking at is how fast this creature seems to be moving.
Huh. You know, if I didn't know better, I'd say they're going about the speed of a... No way. No way. Do not tell me. They found a remnant and it's a car this time? Holy cripes. No one's had working wheels in here for ages. Boy, I'd kill to know how a combustion engine's still chugging away out there.
No fucking clue.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
82 out of 112. Fuck.
Then we can look into whether
What was that? Oh, there's more radiation.
I already know. They're back, baby.
Couldn't get a chocolate milkshake, so instead got 2 triple cheeseburgers. Hey, man.
When you find that shelter,
better than nothing.
Let yourself in. Albie ain't gonna like you poking around in there, but better to face a bad side than let the zone eat you alive.
Yeah. Alright, get in here. I guess I'm going here. What the Sup, Petroid? What happened? Did my Hold on. Did my... No, I'm stopping this car right here. Also turn off the radio just in case. Did that... My wheel came off. I think.
Wheel just said no.
Yeah, I fucking did. Look! Dicks. How are you doing, Petroid?
No more wheel.
No. Find a way into the building. Anyone home? Hello? No?
A secret route.
I'm putting the stream next to my monitor while I play some Titanfall 2 multiplayer for the first time. Hey! I wish you good luck.
Who's there? The shop. It's been breached. You've got 5 seconds to get the hell out before I... Ow! My head.
Oh, no shot.
It's an emergency broadcast.
Hello, attention. This message is for Dr. Ophelia Turner. We've sent a breacher to your garage on official zone business. Now, we have it on very good authority that this person is in possession of a remnant, which has taken the form of a car.
Oh, hold on. They say that I've taken the form of a remnant, which is a car. But, like, the car was already there when I burst in. Right? I mean, I guess technically I took in the car that I was driving, but it just kind of broke itself to pieces. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
She's not gonna care.
Right, like I said, super officials own business. Protocol demands that you keep them alive until we can get them to safety. Now, if you do not comply, I will occupy this broadcast channel with a recitation of the entire collection of poems I've personally written. That's 10 years and 17 volumes.
So I picked up a backpack.
That voice goes like a nail gun to the skull. So, another breacher, huh?
Yeah.
How do you outsiders not understand that Arda didn't build that 300-meter wall out there for fun?
I didn't...
Unless you're one of the unfortunates who got zapped
Yes.
through.
Yes, I did not choose to
Wait.
do this.
I just remembered. I don't give a damn why or how you got here. You're trespassing, and I'd kindly like you to get the hell out of my zone.
I think you're just being mean.
Ah, God, unfortunately, the barrier wall is as fortified against breaches trying to get in as it is against anyone or
getting out.
anything trying to
Yeah.
leave. We have to find you a way out. So you might as well start by fixing up that car. Just don't break anything in my shop with those soft hands of yours.
All right. Soft hands. My dad was a car mechanic. I know how to work a car. I don't know how to work a car. Vijan, hello.
But there's a headset somewhere in the garage. Put it on. The
Whoa.
built-in diagnostic
Okay, now we've got the heads-up
what
display.
needs fixing up.
Mechanics. Okay, that's a lot. Patch yourself up. Tend to your...
I actually remember this game.
What's up, Dank?
I actually remember this game that you're playing. Fucking...
Yeah?
The HUD gateway.
Right. Yeah. No, the HUD wasn't there before. Yeah, so it makes sense. How are you doing, Vijan? I heard you know how to work with cars. I don't, but I know people, so I shall get help. Tend to your wounds. There we go. Pull the car in. Fix the car. Hell yeah. Someone is turning into a robot. Yeah, I know. Dank. It's probably my... I'm doing streaming stuff and then I'm trying to play the game. Sometimes that can wonk itself up a little bit. Actually, no, I think I might want to solo experience. So actually, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to hop out of the call. But you enjoy your crash.
Yeah.
Have fun. I'll talk to you later.
RC.
Peace. And now it's just me. Alright. Put the wheel back on. I shall. But yeah, no, I've had this on my wish list for a while. It looks sick. And like the concept of a survival like driving car mechanic thing is like really cool. Install it there. There we go. Alright. That cool. Yeah. Alright. I guess. Yeah, drive the car into the auto shop. My butt has been kicked in ways I didn't even know possible. Have fun with that. Online players in that game are crazy. I don't. There's a reason I rarely play multiplayer like PvP stuff, because I know I'm going to get absolutely finger blasted. There is no way for me to survive. There's no way I'm going to survive in those games. None. Put it in park. Right. Get me the hell out. Okay. Add to your to-do list. Crude door. I guess, yeah, that door's pretty beaten in. Yeah, even broken window even. So, what do we have? There are way too many sweats in PvP. Yeah, for real. Okay, so we have a sort of like... We have a, like... You know, limited space inventory thing. Makes sense? Like a backpack. Blueprints. So this is our sort of crafting thing. What do we got? First aid kit. This will do until you patch yourself up at the auto shop. Scrapper. Tear into anything and everything out there with this voracious homemade tool. Reduce items to raw materials in moments and walk away feeling mighty. Pry bar. That's just a crowbar. Subtle lock picking. Okay, yeah. So we're breaking into stuff. Repair putty. When you don't have the time or the resources to perform extensive repairs, this is the spit and tape solution that will carry you through and fix the worst of things. Battery jumper. Imagine real life, but you have a Minecraft inventory. Yeah. It's ramshackle but effective. Battery jumper. Okay, so I need to pay attention to what I'm doing with the battery. We have jumper cables. Right. Mechanics kit. Mechanic to do their job. Sealing kit. Holes and leaks by furiously, even frantically patching them with this hastily assembled. Okay. Crew door. Pin to checklist. So I presume I just see all the resources I need, which is 3 scrap, 4 plastic, 3 duct tape, 2 glass shards. Crude panel, crude bumper, spare tire, crude headlight, carbureted engine. And you can filter these by tools, car maintenance, doors, panels, bumpers, wheels, lights, fuel, battery, engines, utilities, refined. Yep. Gotcha. Yeah, so that's added to my checklist of stuff to collect. Route map. I guess this is like my sort of world map. I'll check these a little later. Logbook, stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. Gather items from the abandoned car behind the garage. For your checklist, check the abandoned car's trunk. I need to pry it open. By the garage door. We have pry bar. Put that in my hands. That's a mechanic's kit, and there's duct tape. Right. Time to Half-Life this bitch. Let's go. Hell yeah. Road flare. Can I? Yeah, okay, I can rotate these. I'll put those there. Glass shards as well. Cool. Right. Search the dumpster by the garage door for crucial items you're unable to craft. Scrapper. What, just this? Whoa! Thank you. Alright. I got 2 road flares as well. Okay, so that's the scrapper. I presume this is going to allow us to alright, I can quickly switch what tool I'm wearing. Scrap the abandoned car's wheels, panels, and doors. Alright. Okay, yeah. So just go around getting everything. Not leaving a summer tire. I would presume you could just reuse the summer tires, but alright. Right, I'm just gonna disassemble everything here, and then I'm gonna use that for the thing. I think I've actually gathered everything I need, but just to make sure I have the materials. And that's sitting in my... Yeah, it's sitting in... Rubber! Of course they used a rubber ducky for the, that symbol. Love that. Thank you for the hydrate. I shall hydrate. By the way, everyone else also stay hydrated. Hydration is hella important. You need to get that water in you. Right. In 2 minutes, there's going to be ads. So I might actually go BRB for a little bit during that time. But I'm going to see if I can get this all sorted out. We're going to have to go BRB. It should only take about a minute and a half for the ads. It's annoying, but it is what it is. But if you subscribe, no. Craft a crew door in the shop. Workbench. There we go. I guess I could craft everything else here, but I suppose they want me to craft the door. Yeah. Right. I have a door. I'm not afraid to use it. Install the crew door. There we go. Repair the car body. Get the repair putty from the locker. Oh, there's a lot of stuff. There's spare tire, first aid kits, chemicals. Yes, please. Repair putty. That's what I need. Actually, I'll put that in my hands. Structural parts. Use the repair putty to repair the car. Splook. Right, and it just mends itself. Makes sense. Oh, yeah, that needs fixing. Major fixing. Right, just splash everything here with the putty, I presume. And Bob's your uncle. That doesn't need fixing. This does. Hell yeah. Anything else that I'm missing? The bumper could use a little fix. There we go. That might just be everything. Yep, that is. Lovely. Scan the flat tire. I shall do that in a bit, but the ads are coming, so I'm going to go on a little BRB. I'll be right back.
We are currently experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Well, I'm sorry about that. We'll come back to that report in just a minute.
I'm sorry that you're not able to be watching the news. The fact of the matter is that we've had a fire in the building and the news has had to be abandoned. For the moment,
we really take great pride in our technical excellence. We're having a little problem, but we're trying to get it fixed. Keep calm. Nothing's wrong with your set. Hey, guys, hang on. Hurry up. Whoopi, don't worry. It's going to be fixed any minute now. Hurry up. Do something.
The taste of Coca-Cola.
We have temporary technical problems. Thank you for being patient. As soon as the problem is rectified, we will return to normal programs.
Well, so much for a no-brainer. Clearly, there's plenty of people in here with no-brain.
We are doing all we can, and we'll be back to you just as soon as we can.
We're sorry about these technical problems. We're doing our very best to sort them out, and we'll return to normal transmission as soon as possible.
Oh, sorry, Star Trek seems to have disappeared into space for just a moment.
This is BBC News 24. Apologies for the break in our programme. We're doing our best to get it back to you as soon as we can.
We are having technical difficulties. Please stand by.
There's a power loss actually in the Canterbury area, not affecting the whole of Kent, but it has affected our coverage of the cricket, for which we're very sorry. In fact, we don't think we'll be able to go back to the ground, at least for the moment.
Well, apologies. We do seem to be having a few technical problems with Graham Norton at the moment. We're doing our very best to sort it out, and we will rejoin him as soon as we can.
Well, we seem to be experiencing some technical problems, as I say, with the ITV News. In the meantime, while we're trying to return to the news, we'll try and play some music.
Might be able to hear me right now. I am not sure of that, but we're not having any lights in here. Power's been knocked out. I believe we're on generator power at this time.
Right there, and there may have been a fumble, and Miami says they have it.
All right, as you can see, we're having a little bit of a technical problem, a little late in the evening. As you can see, there's a picture we have up now. There's a power problem. We don't know exactly the source of the power problem. All right, I understand.
Woo! We're back. Sorry, that might have been a little bit loud. But we are back. I just got myself a little refill of my water. We're back in. Right. Guess who's back? Back again? VSwede's back. Tell a friend. Scan tire. Flat. Okay, so that just scans all the tires around it. There's another one on the front left one. Oh, that one's loose. Okay, so that one's just completely flat. That one is sitting loose. Gotcha. Repair the flat by crafting and using a sealing kit, or replace the flat with the spare tire found in the locker. I might just use the a sealing kit. If I can craft one. Yes, I can. Food acquired. Hell yeah, baby! Hell yeah. Have you gotten hydration as well? Have you gotten a hydration? You know it's important to drink. Sealing kit. Fuck. Okay, no, it's selected. It's like a little gun. Oh shit! I didn't want to throw it. Fuck's sake. Ew, water. Well, what do you prefer? What do you prefer? What do you drink? Oil? You fucking robot. Guess putty that. Yeah, there you go. That fixed it. Equip the mechanics kit. I run off of monster. Makes sense. Makes sense. Ding ding. That's how my dad used to do it. Yeah, it makes sense. Monster is a type of fuel. It is the gamer fuel. That is correct. Install cardboard. I like how it said water good. Cheers to that, Petroid. Cheers to that. I like how it says install cardboard boxes. It's like, not just put them in there, install them. Yeah, there you go. Install craft mat in the trunk. Right, this is so I can, if I need to make stuff while on the road, I can. Right, that's gonna be interesting.
Oh, there's a little prototype of mine in the garage. The Arc device. Hook it up to your car, wherever it'll fit.
I guess the passenger seat. Whoa. Oh, man.
This beauty won't just be your tour guide.
Right, hold on.
It's your North Star and the only way back to safety. Heck, you should consider it the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit if you plan on staying alive. That's how important this thing will be to you. Yes, that's my very own invention.
That's interesting.
I'll tell you more about it if you live long enough to use it.
Right, so this is our sort of navigation. This is our GPS. Show legend. U, waypoint, arrival road, exit road, open, exit road, closed, anchor signal, gateway, ready to close, objective area. Right. And I can put waypoints and it'll... Right, and it appears on in the game world. Makes sense. Oh, I can turn on the fucking... Ah! That's cool. Right. Remove. Cool, that's gonna be useful. Very useful, actually. Right. Get first aid kit. Hey! Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for the resub. 3 months. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I appreciate that. From the locker. First aid kit. I'll put that there. Should I guess... I'm thinking I should probably bring the spare tire. Yeah, in fact, it says store items in your drive, for your drive in the car trunk. Right. What did it want me to put in? The fuel can? Gotta make that paycheck go up. Hell yeah, you know what it is. You know what it is. Fuel can, first aid kit, road flare, and scrapper. Right. Hold on. Before I put that there, can I... I'm thinking, because I know I can use this to fuel up. Can I... What the hell did I do? Oh, okay. If I drop it and then... I can't use this yet, but I know I can use that to refuel stuff. I'm pretty certain. Or maybe I'm dumb. What fuel can, first aid kit. I'll actually put these on the bottom one here. You have to fit them into these squares as well, so that's an organizational challenge. I have a speaking challenge. I've learned. Gonna put the flares. I'll put those there. Yeah, looks good to me. Pick up the gear blueprint. These ones. Whoa. Impact hammer blueprint. Right, so I just learned to craft stuff. Cool. Use the pump to fill the... I had a fucking feeling. Hold on. So, if I take this out to the ball game, and then can I... Yes, I can. That's really useful. Yeah, because that's on empty right now. And in the meantime, fill this up to the brim. Gotta have that fuel. My car runs on English class Chardonnay wine. Wasn't that like... I can't remember. I don't know what it was. It was this interview that that now King Charles had. I built back when he was like Prince, where he he said that his car runs on wine that's like leftover wine or alcohol generally. I'm just like, you fancy fuck. I can't remember. I need to find that at some point. I remember I saw that. That's really funny.
Please give me all of your fucking money right now.
Give me it right now.
I have obtained bits again.
Thank you for the 10 biddies. Throw the switch to charge the battery.
If you're all set, take a look at the projector against the wall.
Power's back. That was a little scary. Okay, but yeah, so pretty much my car is ready to go. It's a rusty thing, but I like it. I really like it. Check here. Route planner.
This is the zone. Within these borders, all matter has lost the ability to hold a constant physical state. What that means is the shape, size, and makeup of just about everything constantly changes. A mile of grass can turn into 10 miles of swamp in the blink of an eye, and it does. Constantly.
Right.
It's caused by something we call instability. We're completely surrounded by it, and once you've watched it chew through entire mountain ranges, you'll understand that you don't want to get anywhere near it.
Okay.
We can only survive in here within pockets of stability. That's what you're standing in now. And that's what you're seeing mapped on the route planner.
Okay.
If we're going to find you a way out of the zone, you'll need to build a new antenna. Until then, you won't be able to detect stabilized routes beyond your immediate area. So, you've got to go hunting for parts, and that means taking a drive. Go on, pick a route. The arc device in your car will then show you where you need to go.
Okay. So I can only go in areas where I know there's stability. The supernatural thing is essentially, I presume, just radiating areas, and you can't go there. You can only go to areas that are stable. Whoever made those cheeseburgers must love their job. Best cheeseburgers of your life? From Mickey D's. When's the next reading stream? Next April Fools. Just wait. I'm watching from my PC now. My max resolution is 480p. Listen, that's better than fucking 120 or whatever you were on last time. Much better. So hey, you're getting that crisp 480p quality. Mackey's burgers that weren't squished. Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's any, like, fast food restaurant. It always, like, the burgers, like, if you're getting, like, small burgers especially, they're always fucking squished. It's almost like someone's put their whole ass on the thing. It's nuts. But yeah, when you don't have that, that's fire. I presume that's where I want to go. I think I have it. Did I have it selected? Yeah. I don't know what any of these mean. Good thing I have a legend. So that, okay. So that tells me junction conditions. The ever-changing conditions, whole ass. I guess I'm a burger now. 160p on hotel Wi-Fi was incredible. Oh, I mean, I saw. You sent the screenshot. Okay, so this tells me everything that I need to know here. So, junction conditions. The ever-changing conditions in the zone can dramatically alter both the environment and the many things you may encounter out there. Be sure to plan ahead. Atmospheric shifts. Okay, so this is the analysis of the route. So it can show atmospheric shifts, anomaly density, radiation density, zone storm, fuel density, vehicle density, building density, residence density. It also shows me junctions, highway exit road, highway, remnant ghost, no exit possible. Hazard types as well. Gotcha. So that, okay. So this tells me that there is, okay. So atmospheric stuff and that's low. Okay, so most of these seem to be okay, apart from, like, there's low house density and resource density. Sheer 7 million. What? Yeah, the individual numbers. You fucking wish. 7 million bits. Many sheer, yeah. What does that mean? Junction stability and stable anchor. So junction stability is okay. Low stable anchor. Right. I don't know what the K symbols mean exactly. I'll have to double check. But I think I've selected my route. And I guess that's where I'm heading. Oh, I haven't... wait, haven't I selected a destination? I thought I did. Oh, I need to hold it down. Okay.
Off you go. Make a left out of the garage and follow the access road.
Cool. Okay, that shows me a lot more. Perpetual stability. Not recognized. Okay. It is a residential area, down forest. 7 billion bits. It's a couple. It is. It is. Right. Oh, okay. So this is an auto shop. Okay. So what I'm heading to is a radio station. I presume for the satellite, which I'm gonna need if I want to get out of here. And that's one destination planned. I guess if I wanted to, I could pick multiple destinations, but this is the only one that I have now. That's a 3-hour drive. Hope y'all are ready for a 3-hour stream. This is like Desert Bus, where you legitimately had to drive like 7 or 8 hours from Las Vegas to somewhere in Texas. That's a real thing. But there's Desert Bus for Charity who does that whole thing as a marathon, but also raises money for it. It's really cool. I just want to know it because it seems like when I was checking and I got to this point, it said for everything it said low. It never said like the 0K things. So I don't know what that. I don't know if that's like a setting or something that I changed while moving or that I accidentally turned on. I'm gonna check real quick because it might be. Sword UI. No, I guess not. Because last time when I was testing this out, that said, okay, now it says okay and stuff like that. Okay, that seems fine. So I guess that was very weird. Maybe just because I wasn't clicked into it. I don't know. It looked different from what I had known. But I'm nice. From here on out, I am completely, like, spoiler-free. So I'm aware of tits and bits. I didn't pay attention to the story bits when I was playing through because I was just testing stuff. But from here on out, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to go on a drive, and I pray I don't die. Let's turn on the radio. Oh, it actually shows me now what it's playing. I should probably turn on the engine. There we go. Oh my god, there's a lot of new stuff here. Okay. When is the 14 what happening? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, this is interesting. What is that? Oh, these are abilities. That's SXD in that corner. Give me a moment. It is Osu shenanigans. Okay, yeah, makes sense. What did I don't know what I pressed there. I did a little silly. Okay, but I'm gonna turn on the radio and play. No? Play something? Oh, I barely hear it. Maybe. Right. I guess I'll start driving. Put it in drive. Right. High radiation levels. Been a while since I played Osu. It's a pretty fun game, IMO. I've played Osu a little bit, but I like rhythm games, but it's typically not what I would do. Okay, I can see my sort of stats. Or the stats of the vehicle here. So that's good. It's a lot to keep track of. Oh, what did that say? Never mind. Okay. Okay, so I'm choosing where to travel. I can see my vehicle status as well. You know what's a really fun game to play? Just keep running. See, VGen, you got my back. You got my back. I think I remember playing your beat map. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I made beat maps! I fucking made my own beat maps! I like rhythm games, but I remember I exclusively played Mania. Mania, is that the drumming one? Or is that a different one that I'm thinking of? Taiko, that's what it is, yes. That I used to kick ass on. I think I'd kick ass on Tycho, probably. Mania is the piano one, yes. Tycho I think I'd kick ass on because, well, do I need to show you? Do I... You see, ignore the mess here. Do I need to tell you? I could play a little... I don't know how this is going to sound on the mic. But if I play a little something, tell me how shit it sounds. Okay? Tell me. Tell me. V-Gen is bopping. Honestly, sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Guitar Hero drumming win. Doesn't sound that bad. All right. I'm going to have to hear it back. Adjust the camera. There. At least you don't need a metronome. Fair. I want to get like a proper miking. I'm going to turn down my mic a little bit. I want to get like a proper miking setup for this eventually. Drumming streams would be sick to do. Like legitimate drumming streams. That would be sick. That is in my mind at some point. Vehicle status, max protection, high, oil thing, battery thing. Yeah, makes sense. I'm missing a headlight. I almost forgot. For sure, yeah. I guess the legend shows me everything here again. Yeah. Perpetual stability. Again, not recognized, but that's gonna be interesting. Sort of not a lot of the sort of potential hazards hasn't been recognized yet as well. Drumming stream sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I think that would be really sick. It just comes down to what I would play on stream because obviously I want to avoid copyright stuff. But we'll see. I guess I'll take the drive. Traveling. Do I get to drive down a road? Do I get to do a... Do I get to... I want to do a... Right. Ryan Gosling simulator. Radio station, residential down.
Okay, newbie. I'll keep this simple. Don't want to overwhelm that little brain of yours.
There's a lot of overwhelming.
You'll need a few things to rebuild the antenna at the garage. First on the list is plasma. The woods are littered with plasma generators. Look for a research trailer or a spark tower. Well, that's those antenna things zapping you when you get too close. Both are always accompanied by plasma generators.
Okay. It's really unlikely you get DMCAs now, I think, on Twitch. The audio just gets it. Yeah, no. I have it set up to, like, I can play copyrighted music in the background. And it just gets removed from VODs. But, like, I obviously want it to be audible on VODs as well. It is windy as all hell. I'm going to put the waypoint to... I mean, that area is pretty interesting, so I want to go there. Right. Find and scan a plasma generator. Replace parts. Recommended collect materials and craft replacements parts. I shall. I almost forgot. I should be in drive. I should turn on the wipers.
The ARC device is picking up on some plasma generators nearby.
Yeah, I think I see one.
The headset has a built-in scanner. Use it on the plasma generator, and it'll figure out the tools you need.
Okay. It is windy as all hell. Recommended
looks
tool.
like it's ripe for the picking.
Impact hammer.
Can't get at it with your hands, though. An impact hammer will do the trick.
Right. So the question is, How do I get an impact hammer? You can get the audio if you highlight and download a clip immediately after it's done processing if you want. And yeah, or I can just record it, really. Not every natural resource can be carefully extracted. Sometimes you need to pneumatically assisted brute force, right? I don't have enough. I need gears and gas cylinders.
Find those materials by any means necessary. No one's coming back ever again, so take what you need.
I can craft gears.
Transports, homes, outpost facilities, they've all been abandoned since the zone was decommissioned in 87. Most of those structures won't even be there the next time the instability scrambles the area. So loot to your heart's content. Just loot away.
No. Average weather in my town. Legit, it's been stormy as fuck recently.
Look at you, out in the zone all on your own. They grow so fast, don't they? And I'll be back at the helm. Been a long time, old gal. Didn't think we'd talk again after that whole Sasquatch incident.
Yes, I was hoping to go another decade without hearing your voice again. What, did you finally talk Francis to death?
Hello to you too, Oppie. And no, I'm still here.
I don't know why his I presume that was Franco talking. Kind of reminds me if Yakko was not as batshit insane. Transfer materials. I can just quickly snatch it. Nice. I'm looking for a cylinder. Batteries and rubber. Right. Toolbox. Do we have a cylinder? No, we have fabric. Want to put that there. Might want to store it like this. Also, just to make sure that I have proper like inventory space. Actually, I can store it like this, and then I have like this. I also have a backpack, also just generally. So that does help. There we go. And I'll grab the chemicals. Pressurized cartridge. Yes, yes, sir. I'm going to smash the shit out of you, Plasma. There we go. Now, don't worry. Listen. I didn't want to do this, but I have to. That worked. That lagged out a little bit, but that worked. Right. I need to collect 4 more plasma. I don't deserve this.
Hey, driver.
Bigfoot approval.
All about the remnants by now.
Can you not? I'm a little busy trying to keep them alive.
Okay, that one's locked. Smash that shit open. That actually worked.
Fine. I'm giving you 60 seconds.
That is not nearly enough time to get...
55 seconds and counting.
Okay. The remnants, in short, they're old objects that do all sorts of weird things. They bind themselves to people, and you're the latest victim. You and the car are inseparable now, so get acquainted. Once the remnant is bound to someone, they become gradually more obsessed with it. It takes over the victim's mind, until they go crazy and run off into the zone with it. No one has ever been able to resist its siren call. That fixation is probably worming its way into your brain as we speak. This is the first time we've ever got our hands on one. But we know all about the past remnants, and oh gosh, this one time it materialized as an old copper kettle, and the tea that came out of that thing, it was...
And now I'm splitting the transmissions going to your receiver. Anything critical to your immediate needs will broadcast directly and immediately to your radio and headset. Anything not mission critical will be on a low priority frequency. Those transmissions will be recorded and indexed for you to listen to at your leisure. And by low priority, I mean just about everything that comes out of Tobias's mouth.
Hey. Tobias, get owned. FYI, there's going to be ads in a minute. I'm going to keep playing. Just because I can. I'm not going to take a break this time. But yeah, just so you know. It shouldn't be long. It should only last At most a minute and a half. Get that. It's a phone. Scrapper. Hell yeah. My backpack is being absolutely filled. I need to put these back in my storage thing afterwards. I can't. Can I get past there? Okay, that just seems to be like a do not go through there. Oh, I actually can get through. Okay, cool. I was not sure if I could get if I was able to get past that, but no, that seemed to work. Canned food. That would be good, but I need to drop something off. Actually, what I'll do actually real quick before I break in there. Again, if I can break in there, I'm going to go back to my car and put a lot of this into storage. It seems to be the right thing to do. Put that there. Put that. Put it in the right place. There. 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 I don't know what that noise is, but I don't like it. I'll keep the plasma there. So I don't know if that's the radiation thing that's coming after me. I hope not. I should probably be careful with my my scrapper as well. Yeah, there we go. Ad break. I need to be careful with my scrapper because it is running low on shiz. I should be able to break through there. Breach! Never mind. I guess I'll just, I'll fuck off then. I would presume I could break through because I had the similar icon. But I guess not. Guess I'm gonna check here. Take that. I wonder why it doesn't pick up the road flares. That's pretty interesting. Ads don't appear, just commercial break. Interesting. Interesting. Right. I'm going to put that in there. Gathering craft. So what I should do is collect materials and craft replacement parts. Yes. I guess this... Oh, cool. It gets the material source from both the car and my pack. That's really useful. But I can make another scrapper. I probably should. So I have a feeling the one that I have now is going to absolutely break. In fact, yes, I'll put that there. I'll have this one be the main one. I don't like the noises that I heard from there. Right. So if that was... Okay, so that was one place that had plasma. I'm going to presume this next one, some of these ones at least, should have it. There's something marked up there that is like a house with an X. You can see game again. Yay! Drive. Because I presume there's no more plasma left there, so I'm going to keep going. Whoa, okay. Okay, that's something. That was that a robo thing? What was that? VGen, was that you? Oh shit. No, not where I should have my car. That was an electricity thing. Did that damage my car in any way? It looks like it kind of did. Potentially. I don't like the noises. That's a spark tower. I'm going to check. Plasma-powered spark transmitters combining previously obsolete coils. Appear to have solved that. The addition of a local. Constant maintenance and repair. Oh, Jesus Christ. Smash that real quick. Okay, and that turned it off. Good. Jesus. Because that was zapping my car as well, so that's not... It's not great. My wipers are still on. Right. I guess let's just keep going. I'm really liking this so far. Oh, there's more towers. Right. Makes sense. So that is a potential others. That's a potential source for this sort of stuff. I just need to be very careful not to get zapped. Oh. Ow. It zapped me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit. Alright. That's another one. Did I of course I did. I accidentally turned off the car. Shut off the engine. That's another one. It's done zapping. Charge it up, charge it up. No, it is not done, but I smashed it. Good stuff. I think I got all the plasma I need.
Well, it looks like you're near one of the old Gorilla radio stations. That ought to be prime pickings for antenna parts. I've loaded its approximate location to your map. Look for an antenna tower up on a hill somewhere.
Okay. I'm going to... Oh, Jesus. I guess I don't need a steel sheet there. Makes sense. Yeah, it only seems to transfer actual materials and stuff like that, so that helps. Cool. Right, that's everything I need from that. I need to locate the radio station. I also need to collect materials and craft replacement parts. I wonder what they consider... I mean, apart from, like, these parts, which obviously those are parts for a vehicle, I don't know what else would count as replacement parts. I presume it's just going to be car parts and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to go to the radio tower. That's the one that they've marked. I shall be on my way. I swear I'm hearing sounds that are very fucked up. Introductions. I guess that's a low priority one that they don't want me to play. What the hell are you? Don't do anything gratuitous to me, please. I'm just... What the f... Okay. Right, so this... it's a horror game night here, ladies and gentlemen. What the fuck was that? I swear, those were like... I mean, those were seemingly people or something that were just, like, frozen. Not fully in place. That doesn't look good. Yeah, no. Oh. Oh, yeah, you think you're so slick. I can just drive around, you fucking dingus. That's a very nice pink hue there. I don't think I need to scrap any more than I have, I think. I'm just gonna leave it. But I did want to appreciate the pink car. I don't see those often. So the supernatural thing fucks with the environment. See, there they are again. What the hell? Ryan Gosling. Are those mannequins? Jesus Christ. Ryan Gosling is an actor. It's just Ryan Gosling. It's nothing but Ryan Gosling. Those are mannequins. Did that do what I think it did? I looked away for a fucking second. And the mannequins moved? Hold on, just to make sure. That's not... No, that's not me going crazy. That's what that does. Am I fucked? You saw that? Perchance. I just want to get into the radio tower thing. Am I safe? Am I safe just being in here? Ha ha ha! Can't get in there. I do not. Maybe this is how I learned that I have a completely irrational fear to mannequins. Fuck that. That was something touching the gates. Oh no, that's just me touching. Fucking. Oh wait, that's not even where I need to go. What the fuck am I doing then? Yeah, I need to head up there. So what the fuck am I doing? Just been provoking this bastard. Fuck you, I'm getting back into my car. Yeah, because I just need to go. Fuck it, I'm just gonna blast through these bitches. Come on. Okay! So don't run those over. Those go boom boom. Right. Cool. Lesson learned. Don't drive over those fuckers. Avoid at all costs. Chain together might happen. Oh, radiation. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Okay, just through here. Oish. I think it just... do I just need to get up there? I think so. I think that's what I'm on my way to do. You committed vehicular homicide. Sorry if sometimes I can't really keep up with chat, but I hope y'all are having a wonderful discussion. I'm trying not to die. Don't bring up O.J. Simpson here, please. I only now realized that Aurea 32 minutes ago told me to hydrate. That's how blind I am. But also thank you, Azura, for the hydrate. I shall hydrate 2 times. 1. 2. I'm here now. Hopefully I do not die. Right. Collect parts from the station antenna. Broadcast transmitter. There we go.
Time to get moving. The instability's ticking up by the second.
Oh, cool.
But you can't get back the way you came. The instability makes all routes one way. And that's where my arc device comes into play. It'll get you back to the garage.
Orange juice
while watching
Simpson.
First. And to do that, you'll need anchors. Take a look at the arc device display. It maps all anchors in the nearby area. Find an anchor and feed it to the arc device to charge it. But don't you worry your pretty little head about how it works. You'll be out of here soon, so there's no reason to learn more about limb technology than you need to know.
Okay. So go to one of these anchors. Orange juice while ultra killing? That sounds like a vibe. So I think I need to go... Okay. Use the arc device map to locate and drive to an anchor site. See map legend. Yeah. So I need to go to an anchor site and do something hibbity-hobbity don't die. Please. Alright. I'm going to try to back up here. There we go. Woo. What I do at 5 a.m. when bored? Hell yeah. Okay, so lesson learned. Don't drive over any mannequins, because they have bombs. As ridiculous as that sounds, that's true in this universe. Alright. Now the radiation spreads itself, so I cannot go back. I cannot backtrack. I just have to keep moving forward. That's fine by me. Fuck it. Past the bushes. Danger. Why does it say danger? Why are you telling me about danger? The last thing I want to worry about now is danger. Oh, okay, so it's like big sappy things. This is an anchor site. Okay. Okay, take the anchor.
Those anchors may look like glowing balls of magic, but it's Limtech through and through. Don't be scared. They haven't exploded in anyone's face. Recently.
Recently. Okay, I have an anchor. Collect anchors until the arc device is fully charged. Oh, I need to collect more. Okay, I'm going to the big one then. Okay. Recently? What? The fuck? Fuck you! Okay. There's one down there. Park to the side of the road. Get the fuck out of there. Grab it, go. You know, fuck it, that's too far. I'm gonna drive, because I feel like if something tries to attack me, I'm gonna get scuffed. Fuck it, I can take a bit of... Let's go off-roading! Oh, fuck. Should have taken the dirt path. Yeah, that's fine. Or never mind, that's sludge. That's not great. It's like barrels of stuff down there. Right, out. Joint that. Put that back in. Put it in. Click it. Hold it. There we go. Yeah, because holding that does drain my damage a little bit because it is toxic. It is radioactive.
The arc device is charged and ready.
Asshole.
You'll use it to open a gateway back to the garage.
Okay, it's charged.
It will immediately collapse the stability around you.
Okay.
So only activate when you're absolutely ready to leave. You do not want to get caught in the storm that follows.
I do not wish to. Right. I guess there's nothing else for us to do. I think I've gathered a good bit of materials. Let's... Yeah, I presume let's head back. Select gateway coordinates on the map. Link gateways. It's one of these. I'm going to select that one. Okay. It says drive.
You see that glowing pillar to the side?
Yes.
Drive into it. Yes, it looks like hot death, but it's so much better than getting scrambled by the instability.
Okay. Just drive. Just drive. Let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just go. Woo! We Tokyo drifting down the mountain. will be coming around the mountain when she goes. Oh, goodness me! Woo! Shit, I slid out, I slid out, I slid out. Holy fuck, that does not look nice. Jesus, take me away. Let's fucking go. We out. So I think that went well. Yeah, that went all right. Cool.
Oh, well. You're alive.
Can I get some VSwede poggers in chat?
Get you that gateway wood.
Woo! All right.
Did I not mention that you're the first human I've sent through that thing? I mean, they've been rodents, but it's completely untested. But anyway,
so
worked.
So I was a lab rat.
So
you
fucking.
fucking.
With everything you collected out there, that's the beauty of the gateway. It's the only way to get back with all your marbles intact. Now, take those parts you found into the back room. I'll let you use my fabrication station.
Oh.
For now. That station will concoct ways for you to rig up anything from roof racks to flare guns.
Woo!
Assembling an antenna with those parts you brought back should be easy as pie, but it requires anchor juice to work its magic, so bring back as many as you can. And just because I haven't used that garage in decades doesn't mean you can trash the place. Mess up my equipment and I'll throw you to the anomalies so quick you'll get whiplash.
Bet.
Clear?
All right. Assemble an antenna with the fabrication station in the back room. Okay. So, scanning antenna, crap mat, broadcast transmitter, plasma, and a shit ton of scrap metal. And stable energy. Luckily, we have a lot of that. Cobbled together using equipment from Oppie's vault and scavenge spare parts, this will sweep the zone to detect pockets of stability. Confirm. Right. Hands only. Install the antenna on the roof. Now, the big question is, how do I get onto the roof? Stairway, ladder. Yes. There are stairs. Whew. Are y'all liking the game so far? I'm enjoying myself. I'm really enjoying myself with this. It's a lot to take in, but I'm liking it. Whoa. That's fabricating itself. All right. Cool.
Antenna signals coming through loud and clear. Give it a moment to initialize.
Lovely. Car maintenance. Handbrake! That's what I was wanting, actually. Should allow me quickly brake the stuff as well. Oh, there we go. Handbrake. There we go. That is a huge thing. Hold on. I need to reorganize. There we go. That's actually much better. That does not fit in there. I need to. Whew, there we go. Move that in there. Crude bumper. There's the bumper as well that I was missing. Handbrake in the engine bay. I have the handbrake. Okay, just... There we go.
Make sure to empty your trunk before heading back out. You'll need the space.
Search the dumpster for something to help you unload the trunk. Wreck. Whoa. Cool. That was it. You almost smacked me with that. Transfer trunk. Ooh, I got this in-game ender chest.
And we're patched.
I'm gonna put that.
In working shape.
I'll put that right here.
I've hooked up the antenna to the route planner. Give it a look after you're done peeping through my garage.
Remnant experience. Cool. I'll put that in there. Right. And that one too. There we go. My Wi-Fi is so bad it's buffering at hundreds. No! Oh no. Alright, I'm gonna get all the materials there. Transfer it here. Pow. Lovely. I'm actually gonna organize this hopefully a little bit better. Or maybe not. I think that should be fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Right. I'm missing a bumper, so actually I might didn't I have a bumper in the back? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, crude bumper. I'll actually put that in my hands. Go and fix that. There we go. That looks much nicer. What more? There's another panel. There's a hand vac using most of the same basic principles as a domestic vacuum cleaner, but without any regard for safety constraints. This device allows you for the swift collection of just about any solid or semi-solid substance. It will try to suck up anything small it's pointed towards. Okay. I'm gonna take these other materials. I can use canned food to heal. There you go. So if I'm in the middle of fuck nowhere and I need to heal real quick, I can just eat. But I have the medical thing here, so no need to waste on that. Right, lovely. Cool. Well, I think what I might do, I might go on another expedition thing, and then I will be done for tonight. But I'm willing to do more Pacific Drive streams for sure. If y'all have been enjoying watching me suffer. Find your way to town, it says. Oppie has a plan to verify if your car is a remnant. It involves an anomaly called Colossal Cappy, which sounds neither friendly nor fun, but still, you trust Oppie, right? I mean, a Colossal Cappy. I think I said copy before, but like Colossal Cappy. It's a fun name. It's a fun name for something that's probably gonna eat me alive. But all right. Whoa, there's a lot more paths now. That's for sure. Jeez. Yeah, and these take. Okay, so I don't actually drive to those places, but it speeds up the in-game time by 3 hours. Gotcha. I should check before I go. How scuffed is this car? I actually don't have a fuel cap. That's interesting. What's up with the tires? Front left one is a little flat. Now, do I have a sealing kit? No. I do not. I need to make one. If I can. There we go. I shall use that sealing kit to fix that. This one. There we go. Those tires should be fine. Is it anything else that they're saying? I guess those are a little damaged. These specific panels. One of the headlights. Right, I'm missing a headlight. Yeah, there's no headlight there. Hold on. Can I make another one? Crude headlight. This looks stolen. It's better than no headlight. I'll take it. So I want full light. If it's dark as fuck, let there be light. Oh yeah, that actually... yeah, I get it does. Well, I should probably turn off the engine just so I don't waste shit. So if I check there... Yeah, I'm just using up fuel by, like, leaving it on, which is not great. So turning off the light as well. There we go. Cool. Panels, doors, and bumpers installed. Am I missing bumpers? Am I missing stuff? I guess I'm missing... Yeah, I'm missing a door. I've been missing a headlight for as long as I've been watching. Yeah. But no, that should be fine. I guess just a lot of putty involved as well. Just fixing everything. Also need to fill the tank. Charge the battery as well. Yeah, Jesus Christ. I like how they call them quirks. I guess caution generally means that it is damaged, but it's like not critical. But you should be aware. Danger means that it's critically damaged to some degree. Yeah, I'm missing a trunk door. Guessing I don't need to. I would hope that I can just do this. Yeah, that worked. Lovely. Is there anything else that I am missing? I am missing panels. I do think I have. Yeah, I have a spare panel here. Going to put here. And I'm missing that side. I don't know if I have a panel lying around for that. But I shall check. Now there's a spare tire. Panel! There we go. So I actually had everything to fix it. That's nice. Lovely. I'm going to keep repairing that as well. I'm gonna sort out the charging and stuff like that first. I'm also going to fuel it, just so that we do not forget. There we go. And put that there. Right. Pack survival tools. Battery jumper and road flares. Yeah, that could be good. I thought I had enough road flares in there. I only had the one. I should have probably thought more about what I was scrapping. Although there's more for me to scrap out here, so that helps. Just free materials, once again. I am gonna snatch that. There we go. Okay, so the closer you get, the more damage you do to that. That makes sense. Also take from the interior. Crocodile, alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Right, gonna take that spare tire as well. And that panel. And we've got a lot of stuff now. I should be able to make the jumper and get an extra road flare. I hope. No, I need copper wires and electron. Okay, I don't have that. But I can probably make... No, I can't do that either. No, I just need to find it. Alright. Fine. There's nothing lying around here. Wait, hold on. Scrapper. Hold on. Now that's how we get the stuff. Come on, surely we have enough now, right? Surely we have enough now. For a battery jumper? No, I need batteries. I guess that makes sense, but alright. Friendly dumpster. Another 10 biddies because I'm having fun. Thank you, man. I appreciate the 10 biddies.
Another 10 biddies because I am having fun. Smile.
Okay, so it actually just dumps me a lot of stuff, the friendly dumpster. That's nice of them. Hold on. Breaching. That works. Lovely. Can I scrap the doors? No. It's worth a shot. Repair putty. I do actually need that, so I'm going to take that. I guess I have it. Yeah, I have too much. Okay, makes sense. Hand vac. Fabrication station, right. Opis Nemu. What the fuck am I doing? Nemu Pneumatube? Pneumatube. That's what it says. Fucking hell, I'm dumb. Autovac. There's a lot of stuff in here. I don't know what it does, so I'm not gonna touch it. That is the radio. That I want on. For sure. I'm gonna check around a little bit. just to see if there's anything that I can scrap. There probably is. A little bit. Quick notice that it is going to go to another ad break. So give it a moment. But yeah, it's not going to be super interesting this next few minutes, because I'm just going to go around looking for stuff I need. While I'm here, I need a pry bar, right? Makes sense. There we go. Woo! Lower the volume just a little bit. Did that not change anything? I don't know. Find your way to town. I guess I could leave it at that. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get the battery jumper or the road flare anytime soon. So I shall just be happy with what I have. I'm going to dump the materials there. Gonna grab that extra road flare. What I actually can do... I'm not gonna grab the gear. I'm going to grab... Was it in here? Yes, it was. I'm going to grab the spare tire and put it in here. Just in case, if any of my tires fucks up and I need to quickly switch it out, it makes sense to have it there. So I'm gonna have that there. Alright, now we're running ad break. Should be, at least. But yeah, I'm gonna fix the car up a little bit here. And then we shall be on the road again. Let's see. Else. Can I just... Yes, I can. Even for tires. Oh, is it the bumper that is having issues? Yeah, it seems so. There we go. Bloop. And bloop. Is that? Oh yeah, it is. There we go. I might want to switch that door out eventually, since it does have broken glass. It's mostly fixed. Headlight as well. Bloop. There we go. Cool. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. Right. Ad break should be done in a moment. So now I shall
ready to make this remnant verification a one and done thing?
Yes.
I'm sending you to visit Colossal Cappy. If that old anomaly doesn't induce electromagnetic resonance in your car, then we're free from Tobias's fever dreams and we can get you out of here. With that antenna fixed, you can now detect stabilized road junctions in the outer zone.
Yes.
You've got a stable route heading straight to Cappy's front door, but the energy readings are off the roof.
Okay.
I advise you not to take the zone lightly. You better gear up or you may not survive the trip. Which would make my life easier, so your call.
Okay. Yeah, so I have to plan my route ahead. So I can either go... There's a few different ways I can go. I can either go here, here, and then here. There, and there. Or I can just go straight like that. Because I presume I need to go there. Right? I need to also pay attention to what the readings here are. How much time between ad breaks? It should be around half an hour between ad breaks. That's like the sort of... I have it set to the difficult... not difficult. The default settings if you want a higher ad revenue split. Which is 1.5 minutes of ads every 30 minutes. That's the sort of ratio. I'm checking... real quick. I'm just analyzing the different routes. Right. So what I'm thinking is do there and do there. Yeah, I guess I've planned that then. But I'm thinking maybe go there and then up there. Use the screen on the left side of the dashboard to assign car abilities. Okay. Interesting. If I can I deselect that potentially? Seemingly not. Oh well. Right, because that's a scanner charge that I used. Alright, fine. But I can go from there and then go up there, so that's like fine. Yeah, that should be fine. Heavy fog, that I can deal with. Alright. Guess let's do that. Use the dashboard on the left side. This one, you're saying. Right. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to assign space to be my handbrake. Skid on demand. With one swift tug of a lever, you can lock up the car's rear wheels and convert some of your momentum into a skid. You may even impress any anomalies that are watching. I fucking wish. Alright, I guess, yeah, let's get going. I don't know if I did something wrong, but, we shall go. Right, I can come to a stop immediately with the handbrake. If I combine that with the, actual brake key, like this, that's a fast stop. But I can also skirt. Should probably be driving a bit faster, but I can skirt. That was horrible, but yeah. I do have a handbrake now, so that's nice. And I shall drive. Right. So the plan is, because it tells me I can probably go straight from there to there, right? That's what I would hope. And there should be stable anchors there, I would presume. Or it says stable anchor. Wrecked car, not recognized. Right, and that's from the scan that I did. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm just gonna go through there, to the sort of back roads, and then hopefully from there I can keep going upwards. I would hope. We'll see. I shall travel up there, and depending on how this goes, this will probably end. I'm probably not gonna go any further than or stream any further than 2.5 hours or 3 hours, but we'll see. Back roads, remote damp, outer forest, heavy fog. Right. Okay, that's closed off. Okay, so what does seem to be happening? That's an interesting thing. What is that? The legend doesn't entirely show me. There we go. Not recognized. That's something completely new then. Okay, we have anchor signals, so that's good. I'm gonna make that a stop. And we'll see. Yeah, that closed off. Now I'm just gonna drive. See how it goes. Already fucking with the environment. Speed limit 45. We do not care. Okay, so we have an anchor signal there. That's nice. I'm going to get out of the car to scrap this one, just so that I have materials and stuff like that, and the trip is not entirely worthless. Lovely. What do we have? I need to open this up. We'll force this open. Right, take all of this. I'm gonna take that flare. Grab as much as possible. And take these. Anything else that I am missing from this car? This panel. And then that's about it. So I have some stuff from that now, which I'm going to dump back in here. And let's get back in. Right. Let's keep going forward. Not worried too much about the signals yet. Alright. Parked by the side here. It's an interesting structure. It's an old house. Repair charge. Full service stop. ARD8 crates. Right, so I presume if I need to completely restock my stuff, I can just go here. That's nice. Break that open. Breaching! Hypnotic! Thank you so much for the follow. I'm going to grab that. How are you doing, Hypnotic? How are you doing, Hypnotic? Fucking idiot. Canned food, yes. It's great. Right. Anything else in here? There's the dogs again. That did not sound nice. I actually do want to scrap these because that can get me some electronics, which would be nice for some of the other stuff that I want to craft. Good, finish up work, so cleaning dishes. Sounds good, sounds good. Right. I think I gathered everything in here. I hear the supernatural fucking around with something out here. How are you doing today / tonight? I'm doing all right. I'm playing Pacific Drive. I'm actually really enjoying Pacific Drive. Right. Next up is this place. But if I need full on service, that place does exist. I want to be careful because I know it is fucking with the environment here. Heavy. Very foggy. Oh, it's right there. That sounds... Oh, those are those weird things again. See, I don't know what they do. I have no clue if they are friendlies or not. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna get in here real quick. Get everything I can. Check the dresser. There's a guitar! Can I... No, I can't strum. The musician in me is sad. Fucking, I love the atmosphere of this. It's really cool. Right. Right. Let's get back out. Should probably be careful about leaving the engine running, because that does seemingly consume... Maybe not fuel necessarily, but it does work up the battery. Okay, those are the mummies again. Not mummies, but the mannequins. I get them mixed up all the time. Okay. So weird fizzing. Should be another house here. Yes, indeed. Oh, never mind. That's radiation. I'm not going in there. No, you can't make me. Whoa. Okay. I'm going to drive right past you. Do not be alarmed. I'm gonna check out the last structure here if I can. Otherwise, I'm just gonna anchor and get out of here. Turn off the motor there as well. Oh, this could actually be a really good structure. Whoa. Okay, I hear that. Jesus Christ. Receiver. Use the scrapper for that. Use the scrapper for that. Probably would have joined the receiver. My situation, but hey. I don't have a reflection. Lovely. Snatch that. Anything else? There's the cabinet. Take that. Oh, goodness gracious me. Please tell me it did not fuck with the car. It hasn't. Welcome back, Petroid. No, close that one. Right. Let's get back. Right. That should be the last structure thingy that I can explore at least. Do not. No. No. Right, I'm just gonna get the anchors and I'm gonna get out. Right there, there's one. What the hell is that, though? I don't like that, specifically. Just in case, if it needs it. It seems like that's just like a burst of radiation spitting up from the ground. Whoa! You bastard! Fuck! No, fuck you, dude. Where's the fucking... Okay, in... Right, fuck that. That was not fair. Oh, you fucking... No, no, no. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, sir? No. Asshole. Right. I need more. I need more anchors. How damaged is my car? It should be fine, even though it got absolutely flipped. My windshield's fucked. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, 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 I hear it again. I completely forgot what the... Avoid that. At all fucking costs. I fucking forgot this, whatever the hell this blue, marking on the map is. I want to try to check that out. Without getting flipped over on the head. Oh shit, that's radiation. Gonna try off-roading. Ugh. That is fucking with the signal. What the hell is this? Okay. Something. Oh shit, I'm in radiation zone here. So it's telling me there should be something here. Right? Is this it? Or am I mistaken? I do not know. I don't think I should be there though. That really did. Yeah, that's really not a good idea. That's radiation. That's 2.5k. Right. Oh, that's the radiation that's getting here. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, yeah, no, I'm fucking outie. Yeah, so whatever this blue thing is, yeah, fucking vanish real fucking fast. I'm turning Spanish and I'm vanishing. Get the fuck down from there. Oh no, the blue thing should be here. It says. Is it this big fuck off tower? It is. As Duolingo said, in Spanish or vanish. Mysterious audio recording. Gotcha. I didn't drop it now, did I? No. I'm going to put it in there. And I can check that out later. For now, I need to get out. Right. I'm gonna mark that. And I'm gonna get more anchor. And all that shit. And I'm just gonna leave. Because the radiation is closing in on me. I hear it fucking with the ground again. I see the radiation there. I fucking see it. Right. Oh, fuck off. Of course there's mannequins there as well. Right. Just gonna snatch that. Take it for fuck's sake. Rolling back, rolling back. For fuck's sake. It's splashing everywhere, that's what's happening. Okay. But for fun! What the fuck is happening? Oh, for fuck's sake. No! Let me get in, for fuck's sake. Okay, no, I'm taking a different one. I'm taking a different one. I'm taking a different one. Fucking... Fuck off! Fuck off! Right, that's completely fucked then. I'm taking this one. Rad mofos? Yeah, I don't even understand what yeah, okay. So that's... They're trying to fuck with me. That's what's happening. Right, no. I'm taking... Fuck this. I'm taking that other one. I'm not going there. There's fucking mannequins, there was fucking spitting, there was fucking drone thing, fucking like magnetic. Fuck you! Fucking hell. Right now, I'm taking a moment. So I think I have time. I'm going to putty this fucking thing to highest heaven, just to make sure I do not die. Or more accurately, this car doesn't die. Though I am probably on the verge of going RIP. You know, that one I need a sealing kit for. Although I do not think that's the most important issue. at the very moment. Fuck, I hear it. Right. I'm going to also eat myself to death. Right. Let's go. Oh shit. Here we go again. Off-roading was the worst idea. Okay, can I get up? Can I get up? It's too steep, too steep, too steep, too steep. Too fucking steep. That should be fine though, that should be fine though. I am close enough to the thing. Fucking handbrake. Oh, that door's completely gone. Okay, it got ripped off. Back on the road before something else happens. I need to get this fucking thing before I die. Dude. I do not care about radiation. I'm just taking that thing. Fucking... Of course it fucks with me. Fucking grab it. Where's my car? Where's... Where? I swear it was here before. Okay, it says, okay, here. There we go. Let's fucking leave. Okay. Linking Gateway. Now I just drive. Only... Fan också! That's all that matters now, it's just leaving. Shit, the zone is closing in, the zone is closing in. I'm outside of it, I'm outside of it, that's fine, that's fine. I can make it, I can make it, I can make it. Come on! Come on! Alright. I'm in. I'm back home. Oh my god, that was just pure stress. Fucking hell, dude.
I'm marginally impressed. Not bad, newbie.
Fuck you. Right.
Are you making use of my fabrication station to fix up that junker?
Sunday stream.
Well, I'm still
Game looks really dope. Yes!
And there's the test track.
It's a lot of fun. How are you doing, Quive?
If you need to take anything for a spin.
Yeah, so I need to... The battery's fine, actually. I need to refuel and fix up the... that windshield's fine. I don't have a right door. That's completely scuffed. Oh, man. Doing great. How about you? I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm having fun. Okay, so that's what that means. It says I'm missing that door. I'm doing all right. I'm playing, again, just having fun playing Pacific Drive. Just supernatural, like, survival games. Kind of road trip, like, driving survival thing. It's just really cool. I don't know how else to describe it. I just really like it. It says quirks here specifically. Maybe that's... I've been doing any game dev recently? Always, man. Always. My headlights are scuffed. Right. I might need a putty for that. Use the fabrication station to get new crafting blueprints. Matter deconstructor. Energy efficient, economical, and probably even ethical. The matter deconstructor will recycle core components in seconds. Do be careful not to get your hand caught in the suspension matrix. So on top, that top-down game, or working on something else. Both Just Keep Running and T1000. Okay, so I don't have enough. I need gears and electronics. Yeah, so that will have to wait. But this is a lot of fun. I'm gonna get those and I'm going to dump them in here. No. From there. There we go. Any socials for game development? I have the I myself. Social. I think actually I'm gonna check real quick if I have. I'm just gonna check real quick in the description thing if I have that set up. I don't know if I do. I should have if you X or stuff like that. I do have Twitter. Yes, I do have X. If you scroll down in the About section, find me elsewhere. You should be able to find all my socials and stuff there. I still have the T1000 playtest somewhere. Also recording I didn't upload. I do want that upload if you can sort that out after. That would be nice. But yeah, we're still writing the script for T1000 because I want the demo to be a sort of standalone story that still relates to the game. But yeah, right. Cool. Oh, it's going on an ad break. I didn't even pay attention. I was so busy on the game and everything else. I think what I'm gonna do. Do you have game development updates there? I try to post just interesting social stuff, and if I have any updates, I do tend to update everyone there when possible. I am probably going to. I am in the works of getting a 2.5.0 update for Just Keep Running, so I'm going to be talking about that a little bit when the time is right. Hold on, I'm actually going to close that just to get rid of that rain sound. There we go. Much more quiet. Charge the battery first. There we go. I still need to sort out the battery jumper. Still working in Godot? Yes. Because T1000 is developed in Godot. So when I'm working on that, I mainly work in there. I also need to... Right, still, the windshield. Do I have what I need to fix the windshield? I don't think I do, actually. Any plans on changing? Not in a moment, no. No, for T1000, I'm pretty locked in on Godot, so there's no plan to switch there. All right. Should be most of it. The windshield's still. I don't think I can just fix that easily. I'll upload tomorrow if I remember to. Sounds good. Sounds good. Right. I've been streaming for 2 hours now. I'm feeling a little tired and I want to get some sleep, so I think I'm gonna end it there. But I've really enjoyed Pacific Drive. I've been working on some games now on Unreal Engine. Shit, man. Sounds good. So I'm gonna save and quit. So I'm gonna leave that there, because holy goodness gracious, that's a lot. But that was really fun. I can definitely see myself streaming more of that. If not streaming more of Pacific Drive, definitely just playing it in my spare time, because that was actually a lot of fun. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. So thank you so much for have a great time. See ya. Peace. Thank you so much for watching, whether that be live or on the VODs. Yeah, I think next week I want to try to get more streams in, but I also want to work on updates and social media stuff and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. But I shall try. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace.
SkySoap returns at midday tomorrow. Coming up next, the History Channel.
And with a final look at the weather forecast, that brings broadcasting to a close from BBC Scotland and 2. BBC Radio will keep you company throughout the night. We're back tomorrow morning at 7:20. We look forward to your company then. In the meantime, thanks for your company today. On behalf of all of us here at Broadcasting House, this is Colin McIntyre saying good night.
That's it from UK TV Bright Ideas. We're closing down now. You'll still be able to find your favourite lifestyle programmes on UK TV Style, Food and Gardens.
PCC will be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. with Dennis, Batman, and Art Attack.
All too soon, the weekend is over. We hope you had a good one, though. For now, good night, and hopefully see you tomorrow.
That's it for us tonight. As you've heard, an exciting beginning for a brand new channel is only hours away. BBC 4 starts this evening at 7 o'clock. We look forward to what's to come, but from all of us here at BBC Knowledge, it's good night and goodbye.
We're sorry that due to ITV digital services closing, you'll be unable to watch UK Gold, UK Style, UK Horizons, or Play UK on ITV Digital after 7 o'clock on Wednesday morning.
Today draws to a close. Tomorrow, Jason Bradbury is driving the sausage of knowledge into the soft bap of ignorance. His words, not mine. In Front Room at 9:30.
At 1:40 tonight on Sky Movies, there's Horror from Hell when we meet the aliens. But right now, we wish you all pleasant dreams and a very good night.
Smoking in bed is like lighting a slow fuse. Don't do it.
This is Hayden Wood on behalf of my colleagues here